Coming up this week on the Course of Life podcast, we are recapping the Tiger and Charlie Woods mania that hit the world of golf this past weekend as they debuted at the PNC Father-Son Championship, and some other headlines from golf this week, plus what we're tuned into. And yes, indeed, it is not only a Christmas week, it is Festivus week. So as usual, it is our airing of grievances where we rant on the most random things that you absolutely did not need to hear about but need to right now. Plus, we get into everything going on in our lives and our holiday plans, some holiday movie talk, and this week's guest is Kyla Inaba. You may know her from the Golf Channel reality show Altered Course. She also runs a really cool golf academy in an unbelievably picturesque location in British Columbia. We get into all that and much more in this week's episode, all brought to you by FlightScope. And the FlightScope Mevo, like I mentioned time and time again, it is your go-to training unit that gets you dialed in. It's a pocket-sized device that you turn on in seconds, connect to your phone, and you get all the yardage, swing speed, and ball flight, and club speed information that you need to make your golf game better. It's super easy to use in the backyard practicing, out at the range, or even out at the course if you got time. Again, FlightScope, it's the Mevo. Promo code is COL10 for 10% off the Mevo. Thanks to everyone who's already bought. I hope you enjoyed them this holiday season. For anyone who wants to get in on the Mevo for 2021, our promo code again, COL10 and flightscopegolf.com.
Interwebs, and welcome to Course of Life, part of the Morning Read Podcast Network. We are proud to be presented by our friends at Desert Fox Golf and Grooved Golf. I'm Michael, he's Alex. And Alex, happy Festivus.
Indeed, yes. It is a big holiday week. One of the more forgotten ones that we need to and continue to highlight on this podcast, Festivus. If you're not a Seinfeld fan, look it up. We will get much more into it with our grievances. Happy Festivus to you as well.
Happy Festivus. We started out the weekend with some Festivus miracles, namely the PNC Championship, which is the father-son, or maybe the more appropriate name for this now is the parent-child. Tournament in Florida. And really, Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods, Charlie stole the show this weekend. Nothing else mattered. What did you think about seeing an 11-year-old play golf better than you ever will in your entire life?
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, thousands and thousands of people on social media just glued and ogling at every single swing, motion, and thought that he did throughout the entire weekend. It was an interesting sight to end the 2020 golf calendar. But yes, our attention was on an 11-year-old as Charlie Woods officially made his TV debut. This is a kid who we've seen a little bit on social media win some junior tournaments with his father on the bag this year. But, Tiger has always been a very protective guy, Mike. So with his son now, he's being very protective as his kid is growing up. This was interesting because this was the first time that we really got the TV limelight on his golf game. And I know we're all going to get a little too hyped up, but damn, he was impressive for an 11-year-old.
Yeah, it really was. And especially since he was able to continue to play at that high level with TV cameras watching on. It's one thing to play good by yourself, another thing to play good in a tournament, another thing to play good in a tournament with cameras watching you. So it was pretty impressive. He was driving the ball further than I ever will.
Yep,
he was
probably,
fist bumping his way. He was shooting eagles.
The best part,
I don't know what. Yeah.
The best part that you would appreciate too is he was hitting his drives from tees further up than Tiger's. So on some holes, he would just crank his drive first. And on like a 400-yard par 4 for Tiger, Charlie would hit his drive about 40 yards short of the green. And Charlie would just quickly turn back to Tiger and give him the thumbs up, say, "Dad, you don't even need to hit your drive. You're good. Just take a walk down the fairway." That classic Woods family confidence right there, instilled in Charlie at a young age. It was quite a sight to see.
Yeah, and this was also, I think, what we've continued to see in the evolution of Tiger just kind of enjoying himself out on the golf course. And certainly saw that this week with Charlie. And not just with Charlie, but with Charlie's mother, and Tiger's ex-wife was there too, along with their daughter. So it really was a family affair down there in Florida, and Tiger just seemed to really enjoy himself a week. They may not have hoisted the trophy, but it doesn't really matter. They had a great weekend, and Tiger kept saying it's about the memories that they had over the weekend.
Yeah, memories for a lifetime. And I mean, they're going to host hoist one, if not several of these when it's all said and done, right? I mean, the kid's only 11, and as a team, they shot 62-62, and I think they finished behind like about a handful of teams, but they were kind of right there for most of the weekend. So definitely looking forward to seeing more of Charlie and Tiger in this event. And this is just a great kind of treat at the end of the year to see how Tiger's son did under the limelight, and it was impressive.
That's right. Let's touch on some other guys who played during the week, because, of course, Tiger and Charlie were there. Partly because of Justin Thomas, or Justin Thomas was there because of Tiger and Charlie. It's hard to tell which is really the right way.
Yeah.
And JT and his father took the win.
They did. First off, shout out to me for picking them as the favorite. Really, really hard pick for me to make them as a 3-1 favorite to win. And they took it down. Mike Thomas, a former PGA Club pro in his own right. So him times JT equaled the victory. And Mike, on Charlie Woods' bag, people may have noticed that there was a Groove It golf brush as well, too.
Yes.
That was thanks to Mike Thomas. Let's just say that our friends at Groove It did a little work behind the scenes to get that on Charlie's bag through Mike. So shout out to all the efforts they made. And Mike Thomas not only came through with that great deed for our friends at Groove It, but he came through with some great play. And they were, 15, 16 under on Sunday to get the win. That was impressive.
Yeah, they had just a fantastic weekend to just blast the field. Really, it wasn't. It was close. It wasn't that close.
They posted and just kind of waited around, and it was good enough to win. The one other father-son combo I got to mention, because I mentioned him last week, Little John Daly and Big John Daly, always a thrill to watch. They even had these Santa Claus outfits going. John Daly, full beard, white shirt, and red pants, Mike. I mean, if it wasn't COVID times, I would just sit on his lap and tell him everything I wanted for Christmas. He was really rocking the full Santa Claus look. So shout out to Little and Big John styling out there on the course as well.
That was a fun weekend for sure. And then we had a little break from the tour, and that's, it's Christmas, then New Year's, and then it'll be back, and we'll see everything that's going on there.
See you in Hawaii in a couple weeks. Yeah,
that's right. Let's move over to the LPGA because they wrapped up their season as well.
Mm-hmm. And Danielle Kang, a name that started off the restart. Remember, she won back-to-back weeks right as they came off of COVID. And what was that, June, July? That feels like years ago, but it was only 5 or 6 months ago. And she wrapped things around with a nice bookend W there as well, too, getting the VAR trophy for scoring. Very impressive stuff from her. And the bottom line with the LPGA that I just wanted to highlight as we came to the end of the year, this was definitely a landmark year for women's golf. We're going to get into that in the next couple of weeks as well, too, as we turn the corner to 2021. Not only did they have record ratings for a lot of their tournaments, Mike, but they rolled out a mega schedule for 2021. It's got added tournaments. It's an Olympic year. And I know you'll love this. They added a match play tournament for the LPGA Tour as well. So big things coming for the ladies next year.
I mean, the real question is, why did it take this long for them to get a match play tournament?
I know, right? They're still trying to figure out where it's going to be. That's TBD, but they know it's going to be in around May or June. So that's a good time of the year in between major championship weeks where I'll be fully tuned into that. So shout out to the LPGA ending things in Florida. Danielle Kang, definitely my MVP for this year. No matter kind of what you think about everyone else who's at the top of the world rankings right now. Most impressive American by far. And she got things going at the restart and finished strong as well. So shout out to the LPGA for coming through this year big time on the ladies golf platform.
Let's recap the year that was in golf. We don't have anything to look forward to other than the holidays, but let's look back at the year that was. For you on the betting front, it was an awfully good year, really.
Yeah, I remember eons and eons ago when I was the hottest golf gambler on the entire face of the internet, and I just could not miss.
It's true.
It happened. It feels like eons ago. I think that was around June to August stretch where I had, 6 winners or something like that. Again, my Twitter is at Course of Life 1. So every week I'm putting picks out for whatever's going on in the world of golf if you want to follow along. I think I had 6 of those 8 wins in a real quick stretch once we came back. The highlight being, Mike, you remember Colin Morikawa at 36-1, hoisting that PGA Championship in August. That was a big one. Yep. And it ended Sunday with my 3-1 win with the Thomas father-son combo. So overall, a pretty profitable year betting the tour, and hopefully we can repeat some of that magic next year.
I think the bottom line here is that next year I need to finally start putting a couple dollars in when you tell me to.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get you at the beginning of the year next month. Yeah. I'm going to get you for a base fund and say, Mike, just send me this money, forget about it, and then we'll spread the pot and put the picks out accordingly.
Just take it out of my paycheck.
Love it. We'll do. Our lucrative thousands and thousands of dollar paychecks we receive every week for these podcasts. We'll do.
Let's turn over to Tuned In, what we were tuning into outside of the world of sports this past week. You, however, were still tuning into sports, weren't you, Alex?
Yeah, it was an interesting story, kind of a life story. Golf Channel Films put out a great story on a professional golfer by the name of Jose de Jesus Rodriguez, Mike. And I know you love documentaries like this that profile stories of trials and tribulations. And this was an unbelievable one called Yellow Brick Road. Find it on demand if you can. It's just a 30-minute documentary on Jose's journey as a teenager crossing the border from Mexico to come to the United States and fulfill the American dream. Amazing to hear what he went through by himself as a kid crossing the border, the adversity he faced, and the miracle that got him into golf. True miracle story. Amazing watch. Yellow Brick Road, part of Golf Channel Films. I highly recommend.
My tuned in this past week was a little more festive. So typically you're the one to watch the baking Christmas shows.
I holiday baking. Yeah, the holiday baking championship.
So I don't typically watch the Great British Bake Off Christmas special. I watch the Great British Bake Off, but I don't watch the Christmas special. Mm-hmm. But I had to tune in this year because they actually did an episode with the cast of the Dairy Girls, which I've talked about that show on this podcast before. Hilarious on Netflix. There was not a lot of baking going on during this Christmas edition. And it was hilarious.
What were they getting into outside of baking?
I mean, there was a lot of failure. Let's put it that way.
Nice. I love a good fail compilation. So
yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was pretty
nice.
Awesome.
Good segue to the holidays. I'm watching a lot of holiday baking right now too. A lot of holiday movies. One holiday that really is not celebrated the way it should be in the general public is Festivus, Mike. I want you to, again, we're now, I believe, third annual here. I want you to set the scene, let everyone who doesn't already know what Festivus is before we get into this year's Airing of Grievances.
Well, Festivus came about when Frank Costanza was trying to get a doll for his son, George. And as he reached for the doll, another man reached for it as well. And he rained blows down upon the man so that he could secure the doll, and then realized that there had to be a better way. And out of it came a Festivus for the rest of us. My aluminum pole is set up in the corner right now. Sitting there.
Awesome.
In all its splendor. And I'm ready now, as I'm sure you are, to begin Festivus with an airing of grievances.
Yeah, Festivus officially Wednesday, December 23rd, if you're listening this week. Happy Festivus week to you, in addition to Christmas, Hanukkah, and everything else in between. Like you said, a wonderfully constructed holiday from Frank Costanza himself, from the legendary show Seinfeld. And Airing of Grievances is all about, just lashing out and just letting those raw emotions out at the end of the year. It's a time to love and be with people you love and tell the people that you love how much you love them. But it's also a time to rant and vent and all those things that have been sticking inside of you that you just need to let out. This is the moment for that.
I think that if there ever was a year that we need Festivus, it's this year.
Yes. People are holding in a lot right now. That's just across the board.
let's just start the airing of grievances with 2020 as a whole. 2020 is how's the best way to say this?
Well, we don't have a rant long enough for this year. We don't
really. Let's condense it down into just one phrase here. 2020 is a piece of shit.
Yep. The Jake Tapper dumpster fire inside of a shit show, the whole thing, it was the absolute worst it could be. And while we tried to make the best of it at times, we just, you felt beat down, and we're with you out there. We are as optimistic as they come, but sometimes, life just throws you curveballs, and 2020 was basically an entire 9-inning game full of curveballs and changeups. And there was just nothing ordinary down the middle of the plate for us to hit, for a sports analogy there. But nonetheless, we're going to air our grievances and all the things just kind of aided us. But before we do this year's grievances, Mike,
yes,
I want to rewind the clock back to 2019. I don't save a lot of our little behind the show notes right here, a little look behind the curtain. I don't save a ton of our notes, like from past episodes and things that we talk about in past episodes. I enjoy saving our grievances each year just to kind of see where our head was at a year ago this time, and it is very telling, Mike. I saved your 2019 notes.
Yeah,
what were some of the funny things that stuck out to you from what you were grieving on at this time last year?
I mean, just looking at the list, we talked about Kuchar.
Yes, and we still hate Kuchar. Kuchar almost stole the father-son last weekend. Thank God he did.
Yeah. We talked about Patrick Reed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We're not a huge
fan. And this was big for you, reclining on airplanes.
Well, that became pretty useless this year in 2020 because not a lot of people were flying the way that they used to in 2019. So there really wasn't much of a war on reclining to fight. Everyone has been I didn't take many flights this year, only took a couple, one in October. Everyone's a lot more cordial in 2020 on the plane because we're all just nervous wrecks on there when we're traveling. So the war on reclining has definitely died down this year, to speak on that one. Interesting thought there as we look back to your 2019. My 2019 was funny. I had a rant on sports bars claiming to have full sports packages on their TVs, but they don't. That didn't matter at all. No one goes to sports bars at all. So that was useless. I had a rant on the media trying to kill the Patriots off. Well, guess what? The media successfully killed the Patriots off. The Patriots are dead literally today.
I think the Patriots did that on their own, but we'll get into that.
And then Spotify still playing an annoying 10 seconds of music after the commercials. I'm still cheap a year later. I've still not paid for premium, and that's completely on me. So that's 2019. Now let's get into your first rant, airing of grievances for 2020.
Just as part of everything that goes on in 2020, working in a retail establishment, my one ask to everyone is to wear a mask.
We're still asking to wear a mask? What date is it?
Still asking people to wear masks. I had a woman wear a fishnet mask into the store one day, and I just, wanted to give her a real one and tell her that, she wasn't actually wearing a mask. But I just...
just throw a 5-pound bass right in her face if she's wearing a fishnet, right? That would be my solution. Fair enough. That's a very simple ask on our grievances right there. Wear a mask. Mine's very simple too. Check your email. But my business is all in the commodities, so I am constantly watching what FedEx and UPS do. I just live through the holiday shipping crunch right now as we got to Christmas. Finally, I get the question, where's my order? More than maybe anyone on the face of the planet. The answer is check your email. They have tracking, and you can find that tracking on the website very easily. It's really, really easy to do. That's my one ask for everyone out there.
How do I use a computer?
Yeah, I know. It's very difficult. So I just end up doing it for people, and it just wastes my time, and then we go around in a circle. But where's my order? The answer is look online and find the tracking. That'd be my first work-related airing of grievance for 2020. I'm sick of those people, and I hope to leave them in the past. Let's focus on maybe some more sports-related things, though. What's on your mind?
Well, talking about looking for things, I think this was a year of really having to look hard to where to find golf on TV.
Oh, right. Oh God.
This was the epitome of like live golf not actually being live, everything on a tape delay. The streaming was just a pain in the butt. It became way too difficult this year to actually watch golf. And then even when you are watching golf, to see the golf you want to watch because they don't have the coverage to give you all the shots.
Yeah, but Mike, did you download Peacock and Fox Sports Go and NBC Sports and NBC Sports Live and PGA Tour Live?
I don't have time for that.
It's simple. You just need logins to 14 different subscription services, and you can watch the tours whenever you want. It's really...
I'm not paying a dime more than I already am for CBS All Access to get the Masters to watch more golf, unless it gives me an all-inclusive package.
And we're going to touch more on this on our 2021 golf preview next week in a really cool interview we have. But this was just a recurring issue on golf Twitter that would not stop. Where is the golf on TV? Why is the golf not on TV? And it even happened last weekend with the father-son. It never ceases to amaze us.
We all remember the Wendy's commercial, where's the beef? That's,
yes.
Where is the golf?
Where's the golf? Exactly. My golf rant will be very clean, very simple. A guy that's been very controversial and polarizing all year, Bryson DeChambeau. We have all talked at length and shared several opinions about what we think about him, his personality. And listen, this year has been trying enough. We're all just trying to get through this individually on our own terms. Let's not get like too uber caught up in how other people are addressing what they want to do in their lives. If Bryson DeChambeau is not hurting anyone or not committing a crime against anyone else, then let's not get too offended by what he's doing. Let's let Bryson be Bryson. Let's let him be his weird self. We're still allowed to critique him when we want. But no one is going to be everyone's favorite these days, and Bryson certainly isn't that. But he's entertaining. I'm not going to say he's a joy to watch, but he's entertaining to watch. So take him at that and just let Bryson be Bryson in 2021, and let's see where the chips fall.
You know, speaking about just letting Bryson be Bryson if he's not hurting anybody, let's talk about hoodies and socks matching the colors of your shoes.
Debate. Yes, of course.
I mean, all you stuck up old white men sitting in your poofy chairs in the country club lobby need to realize that the game dies with you if you're deciding to be that way. So let's grow the game. Let's let everybody come play. Let's let them wear whatever they're comfortable wearing. I'd rather no one wear jean shorts, but if that's what you're going to wear, okay. And let's grow the game. Wear what you're comfortable with that's going to let you have a good time out on the course. It's okay.
That's a final message that I appreciate. And my final rant, I'll keep it very short and sweet, is directed at my football coach, who I have stuck by for decades now, but I am going to have a very hard time doing in the coming years if this tradition continues of losing football games the way they have, because it's been sloppy this year for the New England Patriots. I told you the media and maybe themselves have killed themselves off the season. And my rant is directed at Bill Belichick. Bill, what were you thinking? You got rid of the GOAT who won 6 Super Bowls. I don't care if he was on crutches Monday through Friday. On Sunday, he was still getting it done at enough of a pace where we could have kept this thing rolling. The train could have stayed rolling, and your ego let you get the better of yourself. You let Tom Brady go. We brought in Cam Newton, who was basically crippled and on the last legs of his career. And it showed this season. The Patriots now missing the playoff for the first time in decades. And Bill Belichick, if this repeats itself again next year, as crazy as that is to sound, people are going to look at him for his job because of this decision he made, letting go of the GOAT too early. Bill Belichick, what were you thinking? We had a great thing, and we let it slip.
It's too bad.
It is. I know you're devastated, obviously.
We'll talk more about your Patriots after the interview, which let's get into. And that was the airing of grievances, though. We had a lot of problems with a lot of people, and I'm sure we'll have more problems with more people as we go on.
Indeed.
And we'll bring them up as we have them.
Cheers.
Let's get into this week's featured guest, shall we?
Yes. So we love collaborations with our fellow Morning Read Content Network contributors. This week I linked up with another one, Mike. We had Ryan John, trick shot artist, on a couple months ago, who did Tricks of the Trade. Now we've got Kyla Inaba on as well, too, who does some really cool content for Morning Read. She was on a cool Golf Channel reality show and works at an amazing location in British Columbia. So it's a really full spectrum conversation. And Kyla's got some tips for winter fitness and staying in shape during the cold weather as well.
And we will get to that conversation in just a moment. But first, as always, we want to let you know that it's brought to you by our friends at Groove It Golf, makers of the Groove It Golf brush on the bag of Charlie Woods.
Yes, myself, you, and Charlie Woods, 3 notable Groove It Golf brush endorsers in no particular order there.
No particular order. Yeah. The brush is on pre-order right now, so you can get it. They're trickling out there. They're getting to everybody.
Yep.
This is not your average brush. It is the brush you need on your bag. It's got a built-in pump that sprays water or cleaning solution right onto your club face, allowing for a quick and efficient scrub. And while your average golf brush is stuck to your bag, the Groove It brush has detachable magnets, which make it easier to use. Plus, the brush comes with a 3-year bristle guarantee. You can wear out the brush head cleaning golf clubs in 3 years, send it back, and Groove It will get you a free replacement. Now that is reliability. So prepare to be amazed with the consistency and control that clean grooves will give you. Using your existing golf clubs with the Groove It, you'll get the spin trajectory and consistency you're looking for. So head on over to grooveitbrush.com, pre-order your Groove It brush with, that holiday money that you've got kicking around now that you're trying to figure out what to get. Get the Groove It brush, grooveitbrush.com. Get your Groove It brush.
Next up on the tee from British Columbia, we have a professional that is TPI certified. She also runs a golf academy at a beautiful location, which we'll get into. Been featured on a Golf Channel reality show as well. And she's a fellow contributor to the Morning Read Content Network. It's Kyla Inaba joining the Course of Life. Kyla, how are you doing today?
Good, Alex. I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. First things first, like I mentioned, let's just start because our golfing audience loves to travel. They love to get to different destinations, but where you are and where you teach out of is very unique. Give us a little quick audio visual tour of Predator Ridge. It's at Predator Ridge on Instagram if anyone wants to look right now. I mean, this community, it basically looks like a movie set, but you can tell us how beautiful it is there.
Yeah, I always feel very lucky to work at Predator Ridge. It is in Vernon, British Columbia, so it's just north of a town called Kelowna. And the region is full of golf, wine, and we have a huge, massive lake. So as you guys can imagine, in the summertime, the city is just bursting at the seams. The golf course itself, we're pretty lucky. We've got 36 holes. We've got 2 golf courses there.
Nice.
One is a little bit more link style, so it's a little bit more out in the open. It can get a little bit breezy. And then the other one's kind of cut through the forest, and you get some really good looks at the water and the lake down below. So it's pretty cool. We have some pretty big kind of rock features as well. And the golf course is just cut out of nature, like pure nature. It's pretty cool.
That's what I was going to ask, is about the facility specifically, because it shows beautifully, obviously in photography, but up close and personal, I bet it's even more beautiful. There's multiple courses. You said you do a great job on your Instagram kind of guiding us through spots on the property for people that are golfing there. What are some of like the golf highlights and the cool points on the courses or the nicest views that people can look forward to?
Ooh, I would say the Ridge course, which is the newer course. I think it's pretty close to 10 years old now. It is just absolutely gorgeous. So you get a bunch of different kind of verticals and just, like I say, cut out through the trees. So I would say hole number 6, 5 and 6, 7 even, where you're kind of up high and you're looking down. You can see the lake. If you're playing kind of the front 9 at sunset, it is just a killer view. So we've got a little outlook cabin out there as well. So lots of members and residents will come out with their bottle of wine or whatever they want to have.
Nice.
Kind of to finish off the evening and just hang out, watch some of the golf and take in the sunset.
Man, sunset golf, wine in the mountains, that's quite a vibe indeed there. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. So at Predator Ridge, talk a little bit about the academy that you run and kind of, what your teaching looks like on a day-to-day basis. Are you dealing with lots of residents in the community? Are there visitors from out of town that are coming in to get teaching and play the courses? What's the mix for you there?
Yeah, we've got a pretty good mix. So our academy itself we're pretty blessed with a massive range. We're double-ended, and then we have a nice short game area as well as 2 pretty big putting greens.
Nice.
So the instruction, we can do almost anything, which is fantastic. And then as far as clientele, we have everything from, I run a massive women's program, which I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit here, but we've got junior programs, we've got season-long adult programs, we've got resort guests, and we've got kind of your just one-off kind of local lessons that people want to just drop in for as well. So we've pretty much got a little bit of everything, and I even throw some fitness stuff in there as well with my TPI Golf Fitness.
Yeah, very cool. And I saw you did a lot of neat home workout videos during the quarantine period, which are great content for anyone to see. You can find those on YouTube or anywhere where they watch videos. Let's talk about that women's program. And it's called Swing Like a Girl, and just talk about the name and the moniker itself and where that came from for you.
Yeah, you bet. So it is called Swing Like a Girl, and sometimes we do get a little bit of flack for calling it Swing Like a Girl, but you know what? It's one of those things where one of my best friends is Phyllis Nettie, and she's a world long drive record holder. Yeah. And so I'm like, why wouldn't you want to swing like a girl? And even myself, I'm small, but I pack a lot of punch. I can hit the ball pretty far. So that's kind of the reasoning behind the name. Like, yeah, let's swing like a girl. Let's go do it, right?
I love that. And we had a past guest who you'll know as well, Alex Phillips, who's also a world long driver as well. And she definitely embodies that swing like a girl brand as well, too. And she uses it the exact same way. It's the idea that she might be a girl, but she's definitely going to outdrive me 10 out of 10 times if we step up to the same tee. So you better watch what you say when you say swing like a girl, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So, yeah, we've had a fair bit of success with the program. It's one of those things, the program was actually passed down to me a couple of years ago, and I just had a few kind of fun ideas to expand the program, because I just feel like we're on kind of a wave of kind of women empowerment, right? We're getting women into sport, into the game. And so I'm just like, hey, there's a huge opportunity here to just grow the game and introduce the game to ladies on a different level. So golf should never be scary or intimidating. And sometimes at Predator Ridge, because we're so big and we've got large kind of championship courses, newbies, whether they're men or women, go, oh, well, I'm not good enough to play there. But I just want to break down all those boundaries and say, hey, look, there is something here for everyone. And there should never be kind of an excuse like that to go, oh, I can't get into golf. So especially for the women, I went, hey, swing like a girl needs to be super accessible. So we have everything from a day camp that you can sign up for to, I ran this past season, like 7 or 8 hour clinics per week that they could hop into. We had a ladies' night every Thursday night.
I saw the Thursday nights. Yeah, that looked like a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. We had oftentimes we'd have a little wine on the first tee to get everyone started with some music. And then we've hosted events in the past, like bringing Phyllis. When she was up visiting me, I said, hey, let's do a long drive exhibition and we'll get all the Swing Like a Girl ladies out. And we made it like a big rally kind of thing. And we had a DJ and we had some games and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, the options are endless. I just think we need to get more ladies enjoying the game. It's, as you know, it's an awesome recreational activity that everyone can play if they want to.
Absolutely. There's been a ton of growth in golf just in general this year because of everything that's happened in our world. It's been a refreshing outdoor activity that a lot of people have moved to. And on the women's front, you're right. You know, we find ourselves, especially even on this podcast, talking a lot more LPGA Tour because there's a lot of compelling storylines out there right now. You know, as we step into 2021 here, the LPGA announced its biggest, boldest schedule yet to date. So you can kind of feel that energy. When you see that energy from women golfers specifically at Predator Ridge, is it more so from maybe, you know, older adult women that are looking to try the game for the first time, or is it lots of kids who are seeing it for the first time and looking to get into it at a young age?
You know what? It's both. Just because of where Predator Ridge is, our main clientele and our homeowners in the community are kind of newly retired. But there's also a new wave of kind of like my age group where it's like, you know, late 20s, early 30s, where maybe they used to play another sport. And golf is that sport where like you said earlier, COVID affected a lot of team sports this year. And so we're getting athletes from other sports crossing over into golf and going, oh man, this is just as addictive as any other sport that they were going to play. Yeah. So a lot of kind of that new blood, new energy is coming in, which is awesome.
Love it. Let's talk a little bit about your teaching style as it relates to, you know, the people that are visiting. You know, you mentioned you're TPI certified. Just kind of explain briefly for our audience what that means and kind of how you incorporate that into lessons.
Yeah, for sure. So TPI, for people who don't know, stands for Titleist Performance Institute. And their vision at the very beginning was to just like connect the body and the swing of the person that's in front of you. So, for instance, if I have someone like, let's say you get a 65-year-old retired someone, male, let's say, typically, maybe some limitations, maybe a sore back, maybe a little bit overweight, maybe a shoulder that doesn't move quite as well as they would like to. You need to look at that player and go, well, I can't just ask this person to like get into Adam Scott or Tiger Woods at the top of the backswing.
Right.
So you need to know that you can't just beat a dead horse and say, okay, we need a little bit more shoulder rotation there, Bob, or whoever it is. And you just need to work with what their body has, what their body can do. So it kind of connects. You take the client through a screen pretty quick. You go, okay, this is what their body can actually do. You can either teach around their limitations or or then prescribe them some exercises or forward them on to a physical therapist or a trainer if they want to go that route, and say, hey, look, I think you have some potential to gain some more range, and I think this professional might be the person to help, and we can work as a team to get you to your goals. So whether that's just more mobility or more distance, less pain while they play golf, right? So that's kind of where TPI is, and it's a massive network across the world now, really. It's quite global. And so anywhere I've gone, I've worked in Canada, obviously, and I've worked also in Australia and New Zealand, I can find my TPI network wherever I go. So,
very cool. Yeah, and it's all about kind of being realistic with the game. You know, like you said, it's not one swing fits all, and it's not here's how you should swing the club. It's how you should swing it based on your body and what your condition is, and how you should based on how you feel. So I appreciate that differentiation in your teaching. So one tip that I wanted to get to, there's a bunch of things you put on YouTube, social, and all that stuff, but one that stuck out to me because it hits home with my golf swing is you have a quick little tip that I want to get to. Describe to everyone what the chicken wing is in a golf swing, because I possess a bad chicken wing in my golf swing. I'm not talking about the tasty one with buffalo sauce. What that looks like and how to help get rid of that.
Yeah, for sure, Alex. It's not just you. It's a lot of people. Don't worry about it.
Good.
But, so the chicken wing basically is when you're in your through swing, and for a right-handed golfer, your left elbow is going to kind of flare out. So typically what's happened there is you've come over the top or across the ball, and there's no space for your arms to kind of extend or stretch out. So what happens is you run out of room, and that left elbow goes, well, I have nowhere else to go, so I'm just going to bend over here kind of to your side. So typically that creates a slice. And what you probably want to start with is, you know what, check your hands on the club. Check your grip. Let's just see if we've got like a strong enough left hand or lead hand on there. So you don't want the back of your hand facing the target when your hand is on the grip. You want it facing in front of you, let's say, or if there was a camera videoing you straight on. You want it a little bit more on top of the golf club. And then you just want to make sure you rotate enough in the backswing, and that's going to allow you to then extend your arms through the shot. So sometimes in golf, the chicken wing, you got to kind of dissect it and see where it's coming from, but typically that's why we get it not quite enough rotation in the backswing, so you can't extend your arms in the through swing. But people can go on and kind of check out my tips on Instagram if they're looking.
Definitely. You have full length workouts as well too, and you also have those quick hitters like you just explained very succinctly there. I appreciate that help. I'll work on that on the range next time I go there. Let's talk about one more really cool thing that I mentioned at the top, because I'm a big Golf Channel aficionado. I watch all the Golf Channel shows whenever I can, and you had the really cool opportunity experience to be featured on one called Altered Course. Now, for people who don't remember, this combined speed golf, wipeouts, wild holes. It was quite an epic adventure. Explain to everyone kind of how that opportunity came about for you and your experience on the show.
Yeah, that feels like so long ago, to be honest. So we filmed Altered Course in 2015, and my playing partner was Eileen Kelly, who's also from Canada, and
nice.
We met in college. But yeah, it was one of those things where Golf Channel, it was the same producers as A Big Break. So most people, they often will kind of forget the name Altered Course because they're used to seeing The Big Break, right?
Right.
So it was same producers as The Big Break, and a lot of, I would say, my friends and my mini tour friends at the time, you know, that was kind of the thing to do. You know, if someone went off the grid for a couple of weeks, you're like, oh, they're probably on The Big Break, or they're probably on Altered Course. So anyways, it was pretty cool. So they launched that show, and they kind of just sent out a blanket email saying, if you're into kind of fitness and golf and extreme golf, like, this might be the show for you. So Eileen and I kind of were like, whoa, that is totally us. Let's do it. Let's train for it. We had a lot of fun training for it because we both are into kind of hardcore fitness. And then they were like, hey, there you go. We were the Canadian Ninjas. So the producers liked us enough to say, let's give them a chance. And then we were running around the hills of Jamaica.
Nice. And then there are some cool clips that you can watch on YouTube if you want to relive the glory of the series. Talk about where you were running through too. Like when I say altered course, I really mean they completely flipped the golf course upside down. You were running through like bushes and mangrove and woods. Like what was the strangest challenge or the most ridiculous thing you found yourself doing on the show?
Well, I would say, like, even at the beginning, we had no idea what the actual competition was going to be until literally we filmed for the first show. So I would say Eileen and I, in our final challenge where we got eliminated, we were running through like an old aqueduct, I think, or viaduct. I don't know what they're actually called, but an old ruin down the hill towards the water and the beach. And then, we had to run pretty fast and try to pull off some pretty good shots. So that was probably the highlight for me, because seeing that back on television, it looked pretty cool.
It is really cool. It's fun to look back on the videos as well too. You know, during quarantine, they were showing all the old big break seasons at Golf Channel. Why don't you just throw Altered Course season on there just so we can watch it one more time? You know, I'd like to relive it one last time, but it was entertaining to say the least.
Sure. Yeah, I think you can still see it on the Golf Channel app or on their
good stuff.
Hulu maybe.
Search around and I'm sure you'll find it on the internet if you're out there looking to watch more altered course footage. Very cool stuff. Again, it's Kyla Inaba on Instagram. Let's finish with some quick shots now. And you mentioned earlier, you've had a lot of travels, just both life and golf. In terms of golf and where you played, maybe let's not talk about the best course you played. Let's talk about maybe like the coolest or the wildest location you've gotten to golf before.
Okay. I would say, I'm blanking on the actual name of the tournament, but we were in Bonneville, in Australia, which was pretty close to, I'd say it's in between Sydney and Brisbane.
Okay. I've been to Sydney, but I hadn't been to Brisbane. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it is really in the bush. Like, we felt like we were in Jurassic Park when we were playing there. And actually, one of the tournament photographers took a photo that week of a massive green, I don't know if it was like a anaconda or cobra or something crazy, but it was huge. Like,
oh, no.
That was probably the craziest thing I've ever seen, like, almost in competition.
Oh, no. That might be a withdrawal for me if I saw that thing on the fairway.
It was huge, like terrifying. But in Australia, there's lots of snakes and lots of spiders that you had to look out for in competition. And just in everyday life. So we were always on the lookout when we were playing over there.
Yeah, you got to putt with one eye on your surroundings as well, too, and one eye on the ball. Yeah. Love that. So right now, for everyone who's listening, our golfing audience, we're running this in January, in the middle of the winter here. It's cold in lots of locations, so lots of people are kind of surrendered inside now. It's not peak golf season for a lot of us out there. I'm lucky enough in Texas to still be able to play, but for people who are indoors now, what are some simple tips or practice drills that you like to do inside in the winter to kind of keep maybe your golf swing fresh, but also from a fitness standpoint as well?
Yeah, for sure. I would say the easiest thing golf-wise would be just putting. Everyone is going to be able to putt on a carpet or something in their house. And so just taking a ball, coloring half of a ball with a Sharpie, like black or red, whatever you want to color it, and leaving the other half white. And just seeing if you can get that ball rolling end over end so that the colored part stays on that side and the white part stays on that side. And then you know you've hit a nice square putt. So I would say that's the easiest drill you could do with your putter. And then with regards to kind of fitness and say, like we were talking about before, if you swing over the top, just some disassociation drills, which means can you separate your upper body from your lower body? So just a simple drill like, can you keep your hips stable while you move or rock your shoulders or your torso back and forth? And then try the opposite. Can you keep your shoulders and torso stable while you swivel your hips? So it's actually a tough one for most people trying it the first time, but the better you can get at that, which is core control, the easier it will be to disassociate or swing, hopefully, from the inside in your golf swing.
Love it. And this is the time when you kind of stay as fresh as you can and get yourself really good. So that way, when it is spring and summer and full on golfing season, you're ready to go. Our final question for you, Kyla. I'm going to proceed with just a thought. It's the 19th hole question. I'm imagining there's got to be a pretty nice 19th hole clubhouse set up at Predator. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. We have a pretty good one. Both of our, absolutely. Our clubhouse is awesome.
Okay, so I guess the question is, when you get in there after a long day on the course and teaching as well too, it's dinner time and you got to choose a meal and a drink of choice after being out there at Predator Ridge. What's your go-to option there?
Ooh, that is a tough one because there are so many good options in our restaurant, and our F&B team is outstanding. I would say on the current menu, the bulgogi, which is like a Korean kind of flavor, is amazing.
Nice.
And then I mean, in the summertime, you can't beat a good rosé, right? So I would say a nice rosé on the patio. And the bulgogi beef is one of my top favorites on our menu.
I'm appreciating the wine vibes, and that's the first Korean food mentioned in the history of that question. So good stuff.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of a weird one, but there you go.
Love it. Again, it's Kyla Inaba, Predator Ridge. Check out her golf academy there and all the content she's putting out from a golf and fitness standpoint. Really appreciate you being on, and also check you out on the morning read as well too. You're part of our content network, so welcome to the family, and looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thanks, Alex. Really appreciate it.
That interview with Kyla Inaba is thanks to her friends at Desert Fox Golf, the makers of the Phone Caddy. It's a one-of-a-kind phone holder for golfers designed to mount right onto the golf cart. The Phone Caddy works seamlessly with almost any phone model and velcros onto the cart in seconds. Keep your yardage scoring apps at your fingertips, change music, answer calls and texts, and more, all with the Phone Caddy. It is the most functional way to keep your phone safe and ready on the course at all times. And not only is the Phone Caddy a great gift for any golfer, it's a great gift for yourself. You got a little money after the holidays, might as well spend it on yourself and give yourself a special treat. And you can save 20% off your purchase with the promo code Course of Life. And that promo code also gets you 20% off their patriotic line, typically excluded from any deal. So use promo code Course of Life at desertfoxgolf.com to get 20% off your Phone Caddy. Again, that's promo code Course of Life at desertfoxgolf.com for 20% off. Go get your Phone Caddy today. And we're back. Great interview there with Kyla Inaba. Too bad about that show, though.
I know.
That's depressing.
Don't you wish a show like that was around like that? It's basically like Amazing Race meets Wipeout meets golf, like all in one. And I feel like this is the perfect time for a ridiculous show like that. But Altered Course, if you want to check out the clips on YouTube, it's quite a ride. And it was cool to see Kyla on that show, and definitely suited for my kind of viewing experience. So shout out to Kyla, and love Predator Ridge, where she is based. I didn't send you the pictures, Mike, but take a look after we hop off, because this community, it looks like a movie set. It's unbelievable. It just really is.
British Columbia in general is just like drop dead gorgeous.
That's why they film all those movies in like the Vancouver area. Yeah, I completely get why. It just makes sense. So, gorgeous area. And thanks for Kyla, fellow Morning Read Content Network contributor, hopping on. Appreciate her time.
If you like that conversation with Kyla, plus everything else we do here, go ahead and give us a rating and subscribe on the podcast app of your choice. We really appreciate it. If not, then you may join our list of grievances for next year on our Festivus episode.
That's right. Shout out to the people that hate us and don't listen. We love you too.
Yeah, I do. Alex, let's talk college football.
Yes, playoffs set. That was fast.
Yeah.
Only took, a million canceled games, 14 reschedulings, and a season. We're here.
Let's talk real quick about the fact that we have your typical 4 teams in here. That most of them did not play a full slate of games. And then you have other teams that went undefeated. And just these teams, just like this season was such a mess. Is Alabama really the best team?
They are. They're just the best offense. No one plays defense in COVID football, by the way. That's the headline of college football this season.
Because you don't want to. You have to stay 6 feet apart
exactly
on the field, right?
Yeah, we're all just playing flag football on defense, essentially. Yeah. So every game is 50-45, like you saw in the SEC Championship. And I actually listened back, Mike, because we talked about this in like August or September. I said, everything's going to be the same. It's going to be Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, and probably Oklahoma in the playoff. Well, I got 3 out of 4 because nothing changed in college football, and Notre Dame managed to slide in after getting their door blown off by Clemson in the ACC. But yes, more of the same, and the playoffs get going New Year's Day between those 4.
That's right. No game in California, no Rose Bowl. It's going to be
just moving anything to where COVID doesn't exist. So we move everything to Texas and Florida because it's all kosher there. And then bowl games are a mess right now, Mike. There's a game right now on a Monday afternoon as you and I are recording. It's random times right now. Teams are dropping out left and right. My one statement is give Army a bowl game. They won 10 games. They serve our country. They deserve to play in a bowl game somewhere. It's a shame they haven't gotten an invite so they can play in one. So we'll see if that happens in the next week or 2.
Yeah, it's 2020. It's 2020. And speaking of 2020, it's the first time I think you've ever experienced this in your adult life. The Patriots will not be playing in the postseason.
This is unbelievable. Adam Schefter was licking his chops yesterday afternoon when he could send that tweet out that says, and now the New England Patriots have officially been eliminated from postseason contention, something that you could not have tweeted in the history of that app. Basically, nope. It's been that long. I am completely out of wits, Mike. I don't even know where to go with this. The last 2 games are completely meaningless football. I have no idea how this works. Apparently, I'm still supposed to watch as a fan, but I haven't been informed otherwise. So,
let me tell you from someone who's had a team that has not made the playoffs every year. You don't need to watch every game. In fact, you don't need to watch any game at all during the course of the season. You can take a Sunday and not watch any football.
I'll tell you who makes me want to take a Sunday off is Cam Newton. I mean, he is just absolutely atrocious at quarterback. Every time he throws the ball, it looks like, like when your uncle, who's had shoulder surgery and is like a little overweight, tries to throw a football for the first time in 20 years. That's what it looks like every time Cam Newton drops back. It's ugly. He's lost his speed. He's lost his fastball. He's horrible at decision making, and he's sloppy with the football. So that's not a winning formula at all these days.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
If you want, you can come root for my Giants. We somehow still have a chance, and we're only 5-9.
Yes, you do. You are still not dead. I think I've been saying this on repeat for the last 2 months.
After we got demolished by the Browns.
Correct. Yes, demolished by the playoff Browns. What a world in 2020 that's the saying as well. 5-9, and you're 1 game back with 2 to go, 1 behind the football team from our nation's capital.
Yes.
Colt McCoy. What the hell?
Yeah.
I still feel like you got 1 more win in you, Mike. I don't think you have 2, though. I think you've got 1 more win in you. I'm feeling 6-10 right now.
I have to say, at the very least, at least we didn't put ourselves in a place to give away the overall number on pick like the Jets did.
That was so sad.
They had to win a game, didn't they?
Those Jets fans wanted the tank so badly, and they were so pissed with a win. Jeremy Schilling was the only Jets fan I saw on Twitter who was actually happy with that win. Everyone else was very pissed about that. So, yes, the Jets can't even tank correctly to get Trevor Lawrence. So they'll probably end up with Justin Fields from Ohio State. But that's the look at our messy lives in the NFL.
Let's hashtag AlwaysEndWithFood.
Yes, hashtag AlwaysEndWithFood /Christmas activities brought to you by Saucy. If you want alcohol, snacks delivered to your door, promo code Course of Life. They operate in over a dozen major cities. Again, it's Saucy, the app. Promo code Course of Life for $5 off. Plans for Christmas, like I've been saying the last couple of weeks, it's official now, though. We're doing the steak with the lobster sauce. We're going to go get some Italian beef to bring a little Chicago back into our home since we're not visiting my wife's family in Illinois and all that good stuff. Christmas ham, oven baked sandwiches instead of the big spiral ham. We're going a little cheap with it, but I just feel like that's a nice easy in meal for Christmas Day. And just a lot of sports on TV and some good cheer. What's on your mind this Christmas?
I mean, we're going to do a standing rib roast, so that's going to be fantastic. I can't see why it wouldn't be. Yeah. Maybe we'll watch a Christmas movie. And I want to talk about Christmas movies for a second because there was a map that came out. We're really into these maps.
Yes,
that show.
I'll pull up my map. We're big map people on the show now.
every state's favorite Christmas movie. We did Halloween Candy. We did Thanksgiving Sides. Now we got this map of Christmas movies. And I am so flabbergasted by this because I just don't know either of the movies that my past state, my home state of New Hampshire has picked or my current state of Georgia has picked. I don't know either of these movies.
Me either. This is a horrible map. Just full disclosure as we get into this right now. Georgia, the selection was a movie called Almost Christmas.
No idea what that is.
I'm sorry if I'm sheltered, but I've never seen that movie before. And then what's this one from New Hampshire as well, too? Your OG home state?
One Magic Christmas? I don't know. I'm assuming these are Hallmark movies, and in that case, I'm really disappointed. I will give you props, though, Alex, for your home state of Massachusetts having the Muppet Christmas Carol, and your current state of Texas having Home Alone. So at least you have some good stuff there.
Yeah, we got our head on right in Massachusetts and Texas for this voting. However, it came down. I did see a lot of things that I wasn't super familiar with in Michigan. Holiday Rush. What are these? I consider myself a 7 out of 10 in terms of Christmas movie aficionado, and I've quite literally never heard of some of these titles before.
I don't know. I do appreciate Alaska, Washington, and if my knowledge of the U.S. map is correct, Nebraska. Liking Die Hard as their favorite Christmas movie.
Yes, you are correct. You did locate Nebraska correctly. Congratulations for that.
Excellent.
I also love Christmas Vacation, so I'm looking forward to seeing the Griswold family this time of year. I'm looking for It's a Wonderful Life, which is my favorite black and white Christmas movie. I do see it in Wisconsin, so that's a little comforting. Shout out to my people in Wisconsin.
It's up there in Maine too. It's part of the New England area.
Those would be the Christmas mainstays for me for sure. I've seen a lot of these others on the list. But nonetheless, tweet us. I'm at CorsaLife1 and you're at MWRNC with your favorite Christmas movies. Or just, send us that photo of you just chilling on the couch watching the Christmas movies. We'd love to see what everyone's up to. And again, from us both, happy holidays to you all. A lot of content coming for you in the next week throughout the holidays as we turn the corner to 2021. But for now, everyone have a good Christmas and we'll see you next week.